So what's up with all these aliens? Well, there's a ton of history and details on this subject, more than 80 years of secrets and cover-ups and interpretations of the data. I won't attempt to cover all that, so instead let me cover the main facts and rumors as a taster to get you up to speed, all from the benevolent NHI outlook. This should serve as a springboard for you to dive off to find more details and viewpoints. In the 1940s, World War II plunged the world into a massive military conflagration. Countries on both sides of the war raced to develop a new type of bomb based on recently discovered theories about nuclear fission. In 1945, the U.S. won the race and detonated the very first nuclear explosion. It was the largest, most horrific weapon ever used by humans. With World War II over, the world now found itself in a Cold War between the U.S. and the USSR, which would last for decades, with both sides in a stalemate threatening each other with nuclear destruction. Now it turns out that the impact of the nuclear blasts was so huge it caught the attention of other non-human intelligences, or NHI as we'll call them. We won't call them alien or extraterrestrials for reasons we'll describe later. In 1947, one of the NHI craft observing the Earth crashed or was shot down in Roswell, New Mexico. The crash wreckage and the NHI pilots were taken away by the U.S. military, and the crash was covered up. But the U.S. government now knew about the existence of NHI and their advanced technology. They may have known before this, but they definitely knew at this point. Some of the NHI observed the Earth and worried that by our use of nuclear weapons and damage to the environment we would destroy ourselves and the planet Earth. This concerned them deeply. It's rumored that some of the NHI held talks with the U.S. government to advise them to give up nuclear weapons and environmental damage. They offered technology to help, but the U.S. refused, as they would not give up their nuclear weapons. In response, the NHI began a program keeping tabs on all our nuclear assets, showing us they could switch off at will and even disable them after launch, but largely not interfering beyond that. They may have already saved us from nuclear destruction on numerous occasions during the Cold War. Some see it as an action similar to a parent taking matches from the hands of a child. The U.S. government and others wanted to keep NHI contact a secret until they understood it better, and also to get their hands on alien technology before their adversaries like the USSR and China did, so they set up a secret group to handle all NHI interaction. It's had various classified code names over the years, but has commonly just been referred to as the program. The program kept the secret in 3 different ways. First, they set up a classification system separate to regular military classification, using the Nuclear Secrets Acts to limit access to Congress and even future presidents. Next, the program outsourced research and reverse engineering efforts to private companies using special access programs to avoid congressional oversight and freedom of information requests. Finally, the program managed the media in various ways to stigmatize and ridicule UFO sightings, so people would be considered mad if they claimed to see UFOs. As a result, people largely were afraid to report them and would be ignored if they did. The program then began a series of retrieval operations of NHI craft. Whether the craft crashed, were shot down, or were donated by NHI is not fully known. These retrievals continue to this day under the operation of JSOC, the Joint Special Operations Command. The program began reverse engineering the NHI craft they had retrieved. Although the technology and materials was very beyond anything ever seen before, some devices were even rumored to operate by telepathy or some sort of mind interface. There were 2 main technologies the program wanted to get access to. The first was the apparent warping of space and control of gravity that the NHI craft demonstrated. Warping of space is theoretically possible using the theories of Alcubierre, but requires incredulous amounts of energy that we cannot produce. There were also some public theories concerning anti-gravity in the 50s, but they were suppressed by the program. The second technology the program wanted was the energy source that powered the craft, considered to be a near-limitless source of free power called zero-point energy. Publicly known science theorized this was possible in 1948 and proved it in 1997 with the Casimir effect, but there is no known way to utilize it at a practical scale. Did the program succeed at reverse engineering these technologies? We don't know, but there are rumored sightings of U.S. craft with anti-gravity capabilities. So the Cold War ended, and while there are other geopolitical concerns, why hasn't the program disclosed the truth about NHI contact already? The program fear many things. The first is that they have broken so many laws in maintaining the cover-up that they would have to pay for their crimes if they came clean. The program also fears that the release of zero-point energy and other technologies will trigger global financial collapse, as our entire financial system is underpinned by an oil-based energy system. The program also fears that NHI contact will collapse the power structures and institutions of those political and economic powers that currently run the planet. They fear this change, although many regular people might welcome it. While rumors of the program and its activities existed for decades, they were largely ignored thanks to the program's media management. This changed in 2017 when a story broke in the New York Times outing the existence of NHI programs within the government. This was just the beginning. It kicked off a period of slow, partial disclosure, with whistleblowers and elements of Congress trying to bring the whole cover-up to light. However, the Department of Defense and paid-off elements of Congress have fought it every step of the way, trying to roll back and ridicule every movement forward. As a result, we've been in a weird quasi-disclosure period where lots of facts are out there but not widely known. Now suddenly there are NHI craft showing up everywhere. What's going on? One theory is that the NHI's patience has worn out, waiting for us to correct our ways with regards to nuclear weapons in the environment, and are interceding, making their presence known, trying to force the hand of governments to disclose the truth. If they don't, the NHI will continue to ramp up their presence until it is undeniable and may well intercede more directly. We've consistently said NHI instead of aliens or extraterrestrials. That's because there are multiple rumors of where the NHI are from. One is that they are aliens but are not coming from space, but have had bases on Earth under the sea or other remote locations for a very, very long time and produce their observation vehicles here and send them out to monitor Earth. Another rumor is that they are aliens coming from outer space and that there are at least 5 different species or factions interacting with us. One rumor in particular is that some aliens are human-like, indicating some sort of shared genetic history. Another theory is that the NHI have always been here and are a species that coexists with us, perhaps in a different phase of reality similar to legends of the Fae or nature beings from many cultures. Many phenomena and rumors related to NHI are considered paranormal, what some call the woo. This turns some away from the subject as it seems unscientific and has made it easy to ridicule. In reality, it's not unscientific, it just shows flaws in the materialist viewpoint and points us toward a more fundamental foundational physics where consciousness is primary. To go deeper on this, the world is currently viewed by most through a dominant paradigm called materialism or material realism or scientism. This postulates that the fundamental base of reality is physical, solid atoms existing in a physical 3D space, and everything else, including human minds, are an emergent property of the complex interactions of atoms. This view is dominant, and while there are many experiments in science to confirm it, it also has many gaping holes which may indicate it is a flawed, incomplete model. It must be noted that this materialist viewpoint is distinct from the scientific method. The two exist independently, but many confuse the two. NHI interactions, as well as many modern scientific studies of consciousness, point us toward a view of reality where consciousness itself, or some core component of consciousness, exists in a non-physical, non-local space and is the fundamental basis of reality, and the physical space we appear to operate in is a co-creation of collective consciousness. What rules govern and control this reality are unknown, and is for future physicists to discover. My favorite current model is the Wolfram Physics Project, but in all likelihood the NHI know way more than us on this subject, as they seemingly have engineering that can take advantage of a consciousness-based understanding of reality. They might even be an entirely different form of consciousness that interacts in our physical space in a very different way than we do. So what does the future hold? If the truth is disclosed by the program, and NHI make open contact, what happens after that is unknown. However, if applied correctly, NHI technology could possibly transform the Earth, healing the environment, and bring about an equitable post-scarcity economy. Their understanding of consciousness could help us advance beyond some of our more primitive psychological aspects that often hold us back. The transition may be a rocky one, though, as existing power structures nearly always resist change, but our direction is hopeful if we as a species can persevere.